Welcome, guys. I see Miss Diana Ricketts vlog. You ready? Ready and early. Welcome, Miss Palmer Allen. Happy Sunday. Welcome, guys. Go ahead and share the link for those who are just joining. Those who have been waiting, share the link so that others can join. And we're going to give others a few minutes to join, maybe 5 minutes. I'm sharing the link as well. Hey, Julian. How you doing this evening? All right, we're gonna, as I say, give a few more people a few minutes more so they can join. I hope you guys are having an awesome Sunday, ready for the week, and I hope you all have productive weeks, a productive week coming up. All right, I'm also gonna go live on IG. Doing some schoolwork. Okay. Lesson plans. Okay. All right. Good luck with your lesson plans, Julian. So this evening, guys, we're going to be having with us Miss Malika Palmer Allen, who will be sharing her teaching experiences with us. She's in Atlanta, Georgia. I know a lot of people want to go to Savannah, Georgia, but Atlanta, Georgia is also a very populated city. Should I say, I'm not going to say I think, it's bigger than Savannah, Georgia. So for those who really want to go to Georgia, that's another area you might want to think about. Let me go live also on IG. And if you're just joining, go ahead and share the link so that others can join. So Miss Palmer is going to be sharing her teaching experience with us today. And for those who don't know, she also has a YouTube channel where she shares her experiences there. And I see she has recently have talks about, is it greener on the other side? Is it really greener on the other side? So she's going to be sharing with us today. Is it really greener on the other side? International Teachers Rock t-shirt of Big Boss, yes. T-shirt up, yes, Diane. For those who have not gotten their t-shirt as yet, go ahead and check the link out in my about section. Get your shirts, your International Teachers shirt, because they know we're proud to be international teachers. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to go straight into it. I'm going to do the introduction for Miss Palmer Allen, and then we will bring her on screen so she can share her teaching experiences with us. All right. So as I mentioned before, today we have Malika Palmer Allen, for those who were not on earlier, and she is originally from Brownstown, St. Anne. Now, Palmer Allen graduated from Shortwood Teachers College back in 2016. And for those who are from Kingston or wherever you are in Jamaica, Charlotte is in St. Andrew. She completed her degree in modern languages, with Spanish being her major and French being her minor. Thanks for joining, Natalie. There's always a first. She then furthered her study at University of the West Indies, where she did her master's in educational administration. So once she got finished with Shorted Teachers College, she fell in love with St. Andrew. And so she got a teaching job there in a prominent high school for girls. And she spent 4 years there teaching. I guess I wish high school prominent in a St. Andrew for girls. I wonder for St. Hughes. St. Hughes? People, I wish high school don't think that is St. Hughes. Woolman's at Kingston, St. Hughes at Kingston. Anyway, a prominent high school in St. Andrew for girls, where she's taught for 4 years. And then she transitioned to another prominent high school in St. Catherine. And I'm thinking, prominent high school in St. Catherine. I think of the one where Andrew Olness go, And most that, if I the one where Andrew Olness go, which is Catching Eye, and the other blue one right at the corner right there. So the one when they wear the dark blue. Oh, St. Andrew Eye, Diane. Maybe St. Andrew Eye for real. All right. So, and then she transitioned to another prominent high school in St. Catherine, and she spent 8 months there before leaving and migrating here to the United States, where she's currently teaching in Atlanta, Georgia. St. Joker, that's the one I'm talking. In Atlanta, Georgia, on a J1 program called Interlage, however they pronounce it. She's currently on her second year with her husband, who is also a J1 holder, and she enjoys sharing her experiences as an international teacher, and she terms herself to be a simple girl. So, without any further ado, let's welcome Miss Malika Palmer Allen.
Hi.
Hey, Miss Palmer Allen. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to share with us today. So,
thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, without any further ado, guys, we're going to go straight into it. But let us ask first, did we guess correct?
Correct? I'll share that the first high school, it was Immaculate. The second high school, based on what I have shared on social media, I will not disclose, but the first high school was Immaculate Conception.
Okay, fine by us. So both of us were wrong, Diane. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Miss Allen, or should I say Malika, or for those who follow her on YouTube, Malika's Flex, I just say Malika. Can you tell us what made you transition? Why did you decide to come and teach here in the United States?
All right. So for most individuals, they would say that it was a financial issue. And I won't say that I didn't have my own financial struggles.
Yeah.
But my main reason actually was the workload that I was experiencing at the second school that I transitioned to, which I said I want to, keep nameless. I thought that it was really overwhelming. I was disappointed with my experience there. I was excited to go to that school because it was closer to where, my home is.
Yeah.
And I was just really, really disappointed. And so when I got the call, well, not the call, a text message from the program director for Interlage, it was easy to just say yes.
Wow. So a lot of teachers that come on this program, and I think you might be the first person who's saying that was the reason. Many teachers say it's because of money, but in your case, it's because of your work environment. It wasn't family oriented, whatever it was.
Wasn't the
best. Too much work.
Yes. So I joined that school during, the whole online teaching, which teaching online was actually fun there. I enjoyed interacting with the students. I had no issues with the students. It was the adults, I would say.
And believe this, we always talk about the kids are bullies in school. For those who know, some of the teachers are bullies also, and administrators. I'm not going to exclude them. Some
Right.
teachers and administrators are also bullies. I am saying that, and I know others may agree. They might not want to admit it, but it's the fact. Anyway, so you left. So
Right.
now you're in Atlanta, Georgia. When I think about Atlanta, Georgia, I don't know about anybody else. I know that's where Spice lives. So let me clear the air before I go any further. You see Spice already? You know where
Listen,
Spice lives?
if my husband was in the room with me right now, he would tell you that it is. I would really want to see her. Let's just put it that way. I would want to perhaps see her. I don't think I would see her in Walmart. I don't think that's maybe her flex, her style. Spice have the better money, and I only shop at Walmart. But that would be cool. That would be cool.
Okay, so it sounds like you've been looking for her then, because I would be looking like every time I go on the road, I'll be like, "Oh, there's Spice. I got up on the road today." Anyway, let's get back into the classroom in Atlanta, Georgia. Can you tell us what the teacher student ratio is like there in Atlanta?
At my school, within my classroom, because I'm a what you call a connections teacher, I'm a core
Mm-hmm.
content teacher. I'm sorry, core content meaning English, math, science, social studies. Everything else is considered to be connection at a middle school, by the way. Um,
Yes.
so I teach Spanish, and just by extension, so if you teach music, what are the other subjects? Business, technology, engineering. If you teach those subjects, you'll also be considered to be connection. So let me just help you
Connections.
with that.
Yes.
All right. So I'm a connections teacher, which means I teach everyone. I teach all of sixth grade. Well, not all, but I teach sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade. Whereas a core content teacher would teach just sixth grade or just seventh grade or just eighth grade. Starting from
Mm-hmm.
there. So my largest class at the moment has about 28 students. That's my eighth graders. And eighth grade for me is always, for some reason, the largest group. And my smallest class at the moment has about 15 students. That's like sixth
Okay.
grade, right?
All right, not bad. So for those who are listening, they might not understand what connection teacher mean, which you explained, but I just wanted to expound on that. It's not that you are not a core content because your core is Spanish, but it's
Right,
just that you're not, and it's basically like high school in Jamaica, where you go to your different classes and you teach Spanish to seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade.
right,
Well, here they might come to you. You might have a room and the different classes come to you, but they call it connections teacher because you're teaching just that one specific subject. All right, so 28, 15. Not bad, but that 28 is still enough. Anyway. All right. Can you tell us about your program that you came on, Interlarge? You say Interlarge. I did not know much about Interlarge
right.
until maybe last year I heard about them. Can you tell us
Hmm.
about their program? Meaning, do you have to pay? I know some J1 sponsors, you don't pay any money to go on their program. Do you
Right.
have to pay to go on Interlarge? And also, what are their requirements? For example, some program sponsor, you must have a driver's license. Shed some light on that program sponsor for us.
No problem. So Interlash has actually been around for over 20 years, believe it or not. But
Mm-hmm.
they were mainly catering to teachers in India. So you'll find a lot of
Oh.
Indians, right, on the program. They recently started to open up to Caribbean teachers like us Jamaicans.
Mm-hmm.
I actually heard about Interlarge through a friend of mine. She was one of the first Jamaicans to actually come on the program. I don't know how she heard about it, but so she told us about it. I applied, and that was it. The application is similar to other J1 programs. Of course, you go online, you apply, you submit what is required. You do not need a driver's license to work with Interlage or to be accepted with Interlage. But my personal opinion, I'm inserting right here, is that knowledge of how to actually drive would be a plus, given that
Mm-hmm.
you're not sure what area you may be placed in. And
Yeah.
Uber and Lyft, they're very much expensive. But in terms of having an actual driver's license, it's not required.
It's not a
Um,
requirement.
what else?
The
I'm sorry, I
pay. Do
forgot.
you have to pay to go on the program? Did you
Right.
answer that?
No, you don't have to pay Interlage. The fees are pretty much the same as most J1 programs in terms of your payment to the embassy, not to Interlage. That's when you're applying for your visa or for
Mm-hmm.
your service fee or anything else, but any payment directly to the agency to say, thank you for having me or thank you for helping me to get a job. No, you do not have to pay anything to Interlage.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So I mentioned earlier, and for those who are not here, Malika is in Atlanta, Georgia, and a lot of teachers in Jamaica, they're trying to go to Savannah, Georgia.
Mhm.
Atlanta, Georgia is bigger than Savannah, Georgia. Can you tell us a little more about Atlanta?
Atlanta. All right. So first of all, when I I'm laughing, I'm sorry. But when I just got here, and I was applying for my social security, my SSN, I had put on my address Atlanta because everybody kept telling me, "Oh, you're going to Atlanta, you're going to Atlanta, you're going to Atlanta." But then I got a call from the office saying, "Why did you put Atlanta as your address?" Because based on the zip code, they can know exactly where you are. And I said, because I live in Atlanta. Needless to say, I wasn't in Atlanta, but in a surrounding city. So there are so many cities that surround Atlanta. Like right now, I'm literally 3 minutes away from the airport, which is by address called
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta. And if I
Right.
want to go to Atlanta, the city, I'm 10 minutes away from the city. But if we're getting technical, I'm not in Atlanta.
Oh, so you're not directly in Atlanta.
Right. What do we call it? Suburbs.
On
So
the outskirts or somewhere near to
right,
Atlanta. So you might
right.
take maybe 30, 20 minutes to get into
10
Atlanta.
minutes, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Right, which
Okay.
is not far away. Um, so right. So just to say, many people will say I live in Atlanta, which I do as well because I don't want to get technical. um, but Atlanta is separate from the other cities, but we still call it Atlanta. And even here, like in my city, you will still see on the stores Atlanta. And that's where I'm confused sometimes. But okay. But I like living in Atlanta because if there's anybody here watching who's like me, who watches Real Housewives of Atlanta, I've
Mm-hmm.
developed a fascination for Atlanta from before I even heard that about this job or whatever. Living here, when compared to, I guess, Savannah, because I do have friends in Savannah, I
Yeah.
feel like there's more to do in terms of social life,
Mm-hmm.
finding perhaps the right church. Not to say that churches aren't in Savannah as well, but there's just a lot more to do. And even though I may not have the money to do them, it's nice knowing that they're there to
You
do.
can do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But when you go into Atlanta City, you'll see, the large buildings. Atlanta is actually more clustered than people may think. Like the roads are very narrow. If you can think about Spanish Town and how narrow those roads are,
Yeah.
that- that's actually like how Atlanta's roads are. I feel like I'm
Mm-hmm.
deflecting. Did I miss something in the question?
No, but
Okay.
I'm glad that you compared Savannah because that was going to be my next question. I know a lot of teachers, though they want to come to live in Savannah, Georgia, not realizing how expensive it is to live in Savannah, Georgia until they get here. They realize how expensive the rent is. Everything is just expensive. What is the expenses like in
Right.
Atlanta? Is it expensive? What is the rent like there?
Surprisingly, I'm paying my rent is much cheaper than my friends in Savannah. So my friends in Savannah, their rent is like 1,900. The cheapest one that I've heard of so far is like 1,500. My rent right now is 1,350 for a two-bedroom, which could still be lower, but it's where I chose to live. I have
Yeah.
friends who are in two-bedrooms for like 850, 900, 1,000. It all depends on where
Yeah.
you want to live and how safe you want it to be.
Mhm.
So I'll gladly pay 1,350 for my safety.
All right, good. 1350. All right, so that's not bad. No, since we're talking about money, we just got straight into that. We don't want you to tell us your specific figure. But we
Right.
know what the salary scale is like in Savannah, Georgia.
Hmm.
Is it similar in Atlanta, Georgia? Because teachers they want to know what their money is gonna be like if they're gonna be going that side.
All right. So just remembering that there are many counties in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that for my county and also neighboring counties, the pay range is higher than in Savannah. And I can get a little bit more specific when comparing, as I keep saying, I have friends in Savannah. I um I am being paid based on having a bachelor's degree. Though I have my master's, that's another story. I'm being paid just as a teacher with a regular bachelor's degree. My friends in
Mm,
Savannah who earn with their master's qualification, that when we've compared, we're getting the same after tax on a monthly basis, which is
mm-hmm.
crazy. So I do like the pay scale here. Some people would want to think that okay, you get more in Atlanta because it's perhaps more expensive. But as I've said before, especially if you're not living directly in Atlanta, which if you're of sane mind, you would not live directly in Atlanta city because there's so many places close to Atlanta itself.
Yeah.
um you can get cheap living arrangements, so the pay isn't more because your living arrangements or your what do you call it, your expenses aren't necessarily more because it's reasonable.
I want to back up. You mentioned that though you have a master's, you're only being paid for your
Degree,
bachelor's. And I
right.
know this is not the first district that I know. Is this something to do with the district or is
Mhm.
it with your program sponsor?
It has nothing to do with my program sponsor. I've recently learned that it's more to do with the district because at first, I have a master's in educational administration, which is a popular master's in Jamaica. Because we know that in Jamaica, we try to get a master's outside of our direct subject that we got our bachelor's degree
Right.
because we're trying to be
Mm-hmm.
more versatile and whatnot. So I went with educational administration, not knowing that I would be here. And so I got my degree in 2021, the same year that I came here.
Yeah.
So I went ahead, got my master's evaluated and submitted it to the Georgia Commission, Teachers
Yeah.
Commission,
Yes.
whatever, to get my level
Yeah.
upgrade because I was already submitted as a step four, which is not step four, T4, which is a degree level. And so I wanted them to upgrade my level to a T5, which would be the master's level. They sent me back a message to say that because I am not an administrator, I cannot be paid. I cannot be paid for my master's because my master's is in, even though it's an education degree, it's in educational administration and not Spanish or languages or linguistics, which my which is what I'm teaching. My husband has a master's degree in uh masters of arts in teaching. He gets paid for his master's degree because it directly says teaching, but because mine
Yeah.
says educational administration, I am not being paid for that. um so yeah, so I found out, I thought it was just a Georgia thing, but then I realized that a colleague of mine who graduated from UA just the same with the same degree, who got here this year, was being paid for his masters. So I was like,
Wh-
oh no.
Where in Georgia is he?
He's in Henry County.
Because my master's is similar and I get paid for my master's and mine is
Right,
in educational supervision. And
right.
I didn't hear that.
So I was like, why are you being paid for your masters and I'm not? And we both got our degrees the same year, same school and everything. Um, then I found out that it's really a county thing, that some counties do not want to pay you for certain masters.
Yes.
I'm still not ungrateful because I'm still earning more than he is, even though he's being paid for his masters. So
All right. Oh, maybe you have more
because
years
my
teaching.
because no, it's because my county pays well. Um,
Oh. Oh.
yeah, but I won't. I say I won't. I will not be ungrateful. I look at the master's scale, and I would love to be, paid for my masters. But even though that's not the case, I'm not ungrateful.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier, for those who don't know, and I see somebody in the chat box, Kimiko, thank you very much. Like up the video, guys. Please, when you come on to the live, you're getting the information free. Just go ahead and touch the thumbs up button. Nothing's gonna happen to your fingers. Just touch it. Like the video. Let us know that you are appreciating the information being shared. Okay? If you want to go ahead and do some, what is that thing called, Diane? Put in the chat for me, super chats. You can do that also. However you want to show your appreciation, go ahead and show your appreciation there. So, as I was saying, Malika has a YouTube channel, Malika's Flex. For those who don't know, she also shares her experience on her channel, and she talks about her experiences here in the United States. And I can remember at one point she was saying she couldn't believe she came to the United States to experience this. Can you share with the people who are here some of the things that shocked you, or some of the things that you are referring to when you say you are surprised by coming to the United States and experiencing these activities or whatever it is? Can you share that with us?
So let me do it like I'm doing an essay. Let me have my opening statement and such. Kidding. But when 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 you hear about the United States, it's a first world country, and you're
Yes.
exposed to certain things. And certain things you just would not even like. You'll hear things from people, and like I'm here sitting with you and I'm speaking with you all right now, and you'll hear me, but you'll never truly understand until you're in the situation.
Yes.
I'm gonna give a backstory. When I was in high school, we had a teacher who left for the United States, and after 2 years, she returned. And to be honest, I judged her. I judged her. I was like, "The lady a fool. She get to go foreign." And
Right.
like, why would anyone want to get the opportunity to get to go overseas and return? But now
Mm-hmm.
that I'm here, sometimes the thought really, goes through my mind for certain things, for certain, cultural shocks. Um, and I've spoken. The main shock for me right now is student behavior. So
Mm-hmm.
y'all catch that? Wonderful.
Yes.
you know, um,
Yes.
it's really a shocker. Like, you'll hear that, oh, Pitnya, American have no, they don't have any manners, and they do certain things. But unless you have a child in front of you telling you, I'm gonna effing kill you, you don't really understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
um
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked at the amount of profanity that is used, not just by students but also adults. So we know that in the Jamaican work environment, even though we may develop friendships with our co-workers, we still don't use certain language at work. I've realized
Yes.
that, okay, where I'm at, the use of profanity is nothing. Like, you'll have a teacher speaking to you in the hallway, maybe students are passing, and they're like, these effing kids are getting on my effing nerves. No, and I'm like, but like, students are passing us, like, and the
Yeah.
students are passing, like, not even listening. Like, it's so, the use of profanity is so normal. It's like nothing when the students are hearing, like, even adults use it. And I don't want to say that all the adults use it, but it
Yeah.
is so common. Um, hmm. Another shocker is, I'm thinking, it just went to my mind and went back out. But if it comes back to me, I'll let you know.
Yeah. And I want to add to that profanity. I'm telling you, just as you said, teachers in the hallway using those words, even the B word, I would hear teachers use the B word when they're referring to students. And you
Right.
would like, really? We're at school. So why would you want to go?
Exactly.
You don't even know who else is in the hallway, but they don't care. It's just the culture. And
Right.
as you see, it's just like normal. They're just talking and just normal for them to say it. They don't find anything wrong with it. So trust me.
Right.
It's
I found, I was here looking through my book because I have my book beside me where I have some have my notes with more of the culture shocks.
yeah.
A positive shock, because not all shocks would be negative. A positive
Mm-hmm.
shock would be like a simple thing as students having their own computer. I really liked that because it definitely aids with teaching. If you're someone who likes to do like the virtual games and stuff like that to enhance your class, your lesson, that is definitely a plus. But with that shock, I'm going to give the negative to that, which is that the students don't value what they have. Places that are just given to them, they'll destroy them. Even lunch where I'm at, it's a Title 1 district, which means it's mostly, poor.
Free.
It's a poor demographic or whatever the word is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, students get their lunches free, and I'll see
Mm-hmm.
students throwing away good apple, good oranges.
Every day.
Um, the lunch looks healthy. I've tasted some. Some of them are okay, some not so, wonderful, but nonetheless, it's free, and your parents did not give you any lunch to go to school. So why would you just throw it away? Like, they'll collect a whole tray, but mind you, you don't have to collect it. You'll collect a whole tray, look at it, and say, I don't want this. Trash. Like, are y'all crazy? So that's a shock. Another shocker that I've had is, I've seen it on TV, but like I said, you see things on TV, you hear people talk about it, but it's not really real until you've experienced it. Just students wearing their nails, eyelash, hot girl, hotter than you. um,
Mm-hmm.
at first, like, the Jamaican teacher in me wanted to say, order mark, why do you have nails in your hand? And trust me, I'm not against it, because it really doesn't, those things don't necessarily affect their learning. I've said it before that some of my smartest students are the ones who, come with the longest eyelashes and, the longest nails. So that, but it was still a shocker for me. It was distracting at first, teaching and having a student, with the nails and all of that. So that was definitely a culture shock. Um, on a positive note, and I know many teachers want to migrate because they feel unappreciated by their administrators. I was shocked. It's like someone leaving a bad relationship, going into a good relationship, and shocked by someone opening the door for them. For me, my shock was having my administrators constantly thanking us for all that we do. So you'll have an email. Teachers, please be reminded to do X, Y, and Z, and then at the bottom of the email. And remember, we thank you for all that you do. Remember that
Yeah.
we love you. My principal, at the end of the day, he says, "Teachers, thank you for all that you do. Remember, I love you." For me, I appreciate those little things. I know some
Yeah.
teachers roll their eyes at it. Personally, personally, I appreciate it because I'm not used to that.
That's
Right?
not all you're used to. That's true.
Right.
That's true. That's true. Um, Referring back to the lunch, I
Mm-hmm.
know from previous districts that I've been at, I think it's a case where the kids have to. I'm not sure about your school district. They have to take the lunch, whether they want to eat it, yes or no. They take it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can do whatever they want to do with it, and they don't mind if they take it, as I say, and throw everything in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
And for the nails,
Mm-hmm.
you are at high school. You say middle
Middle
school.
school.
I am at second grade. My second graders come with their nails prettier than mine. Second
What?
grade. And you know that it wasn't done by the mom. You can see that it was done professionally. So they
Mm-hmm.
go to the salon and get their nails done. Second grade. So this is just a part of the culture where the little girls they start getting these treatment from they were smaller. So it's going to
Right.
just
Wow.
go straight up to middle and high school. So I
That's
don't think, as you say, I don't think it's anything to do with the education system. Is just their culture.
right.
Yeah. All
Now.
right. All right. So I know you also talk about the grass being greener on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and you had teachers to share with you their take on the grass being greener. And I'm sure other people who are interested in, taking up an international teaching job would like to know: am I really going to be getting better when getting some, more from my books when I get to the United States, or is it going to be the same, or is it going to be worse? First, share with me what your teachers are sharing on your platform, and then tell me what's your view. Is it really greener on this side in the United States, or is it really better in Jamaica?
Um, it's really a hit or miss because it all boils down to where you are placed. If you are going through one of the programs where they place you, and even if you say, if it's one of those agencies where they place in different states or whatnot, even if you say, hey, I want to be placed in Georgia versus Florida or wherever, at the end of the day, it still boils down to the school that you're placed in, the district that you're placed in, and the culture of that school district. and their requirements. So for some of my friends, it has been greener. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
will say greenish, and for some, the experience has not been all that. Um, so this is what some people are saying. Some people are saying that the workload is more. Mind you, some of them are in their first year and getting used to a new school system, a new lesson, type of
Yeah.
lesson planning can be difficult. Just change, even in Jamaica, if you switch jobs, it can be difficult because it's new to you. So some
Yes.
people believe that the lesson planning is it's more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps they have more to do in terms of just planning. And because I realize that here they're very big on differentiation, like I know that Jamaican teachers, we differentiate, but they really do place an emphasis on ensuring that you have different activities for different learners, and they emphasize small grouping a lot. So that can be the workload for that can be a whole lot, especially if it's your first year and you don't have previous lesson plans to kind of
Yeah.
back off of. That can be overwhelming. So I can see through that side of it for those who are overwhelmed with the lesson planning. For some individuals, based on the counties that they've been placed in, the pay is good for some and they're able to save. For some, they're not able to save. Some individuals are in the same counties and they see where the pay is good. Some don't see it because of their personal situation. Some people have small children that have to go to before and after care, which it's
Yeah.
pricey. And so their experience where money is concerned may not be as the other person who perhaps has a 10-year-old child who can, go home by him or herself. By the way, in Georgia, it is not illegal for you to leave your 10-year-old at home for just for a few hours. I think about 2 hours. So if you're getting
Mm-hmm.
home a little bit late-ish, it's legally fine for you to have your 10-year-old at home for a few hours by themselves. So that would be
Okay.
definitely make it easier for a mom with or parents of older children versus younger children. So the
Mm-hmm.
grass can be green, but it's based on your own situation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're all on the same thing where student behavior is concerned. We all have similar stories. So for on that end, it's not greener. But um personally,
Yeah.
and I've said this before because my county is one of the better paying ones, I think it's greener. And so I've been encouraging people to come because for me, it has been greener financially and also work wise. I've explained before that I'm a connections teacher, which means I'm not really collaborating much with other teachers. I'm the only teacher of Spanish in my school, while I am
Mm-hmm.
a part of the connections team and we do have a team lead. There is no one who is dictating to me what should or should not be in my lessons. Yes, we're guided by the county when we have our little professional development or whatnot, but really and truly, I'm on my own, and that lends me a lot of flexibility. And so for me, that part is greener. Lesson planning isn't anything too extensive for me. At first, I found because I didn't really understand what standards were. The idea of it was kind of strange to me, and I was trying to
Yeah.
connect it. Is it a general objective, what we call a general objective? Like, what is this? But I had a mentor for my first year. Still have a mentor because we have to do it for 3 years in my county, unfortunately. But yes, but yeah, my mentor helped me to navigate some of those issues that I was having. But for me personally, I would say that it is greener, and I would not discourage anyone, regardless of the issues that some people may have, regardless of the issues that I may not have. I'm not going to say do not come or come. I'll say just make your own decision. You'll never know unless you try it yourself.
Yeah. And I think standards are what we would used to call in Jamaica attainment targets. Would that
Perhaps.
be the broader heading, and then we had our
I guess,
objectives
but like
from
for
that?
our attainment targets in Jamaica, I think we created them. I don't know what it's like because I know you're what primary
Yeah.
kindergarten but
And
high school.
primary.
Right. In Jamaica for high school, we would I think create our own attainment targets, but these standards are provided by the district.
Mm-hmm.
It was just difficult for me at first to really comprehend what I was looking at.
Yeah. All right. So also we want to talk about you leaving your nice Jamaican home to come to Atlanta to say to what you say is the ghetto. Can you explain to us? Because maybe people think ghetto is not in foreign, or they think country is not in foreign, because all we see back home is Miami and New York with the tall buildings, the bright light, and everything just pretty. Can you explain to us? I know one of your videos you spoke about leaving your nice Jamaican home to come and live in the ghetto in Atlanta. Can you share that with us, please? What is that like?
Okay. So where do I start? I previously explained that I'm in a Title One county, which means we have mostly poor people. Most times, poor people are associated with, ghetto. And not to, let anybody feel anyway. If you are from the ghetto, that's fine. My husband is from the ghetto, and here he is today. So just putting that out there. But so I'm in one of the poorer counties in terms of, like, people and whatnot. And with that, poverty lends to crime sometimes. Not in all communities, but in some. And with that being said, in my county, some areas within my county, because it's big, some communities have a lot of crime, more crime than others. So when I was doing my house hunting, looking online, all the pictures look beautiful. And when I got here, it was beautiful. But in my mind, coming from Jamaica, ghetto was zinc fence. And, you know, I don't know. But ghetto in my mind have a certain look, right? Coming to this place, I wouldn't know what a ghetto would really look like. After being here for a while, being in new areas, I can say, okay, this looks like a ghetto. This does not look like a ghetto after being here. But as somebody who has never traveled to the United States before, I did not know what ghetto was supposed to look like. And to me, my apartment looks like a hotel because we had a pool. The building were painted. It was like an old structure, but they tried to upkeep the building and whatnot. So until one night we hear pipe, 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 pipe right outside of our window. Right outside of our window. And things can happen on a one-off basis. So we were thinking, all right, maybe this is a
Yes.
one-off thing. Until like a week later, we got an email from, like, a general email from the property manager saying, there was something happening the week before and somebody died. There was a police report that we saw on the what you call it, on internet within our county, that this apartment, whatever, somebody died. But okay, things do happen, even in Cherry Gardens, right?
Right.
So, but we realized that it became like frequent. So like every
Wow.
week, sometimes like nights upon nights, and it's happening like after 11 when you've already started to sleep. Out of your sleep, you're just pipe, 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 pipe.
Wait then. Wait, I don't town this. This is not
And
Atlanta. I don't
mind you, I was living in Spanish Town, Willowdene to be exact, in Jamaica. I know some
Right.
people will say Willowdene isn't all a good area, but I never grew up to hear gunshots. So when I heard it the
Right.
first time, I wasn't even sure if I was hearing gunshots or if some firecrackers or clappers or whatever they call it. I wasn't 100% sure until my husband said gunshots, whatever, because I told you he's a ghetto boy. He knows a thing.
Right.
um so of course, every time I would hear it, I would be on the floor. My husband would still be on the bed or looking out to see what's happening. Because
Most
he's not
downtown him
scared.
come from. Most downtown.
Right. So yeah, I wouldn't have known that this was a ghetto area. I had nobody to really ask because I have no
Right.
family or had no family or friends in Georgia at the time. Even to get that apartment though, I should have realized that it was a red flag because in my county specifically, they're very strict on how they do things, not just in the
Right.
schools, but even when it comes down to apartment hunting. For example, you need to have your social security for them to do a background check. You need to have your employee or your place of employment where they can do a check to see that you're employed. And
Right.
while this place took a while to reach out to me, They told me because of my unique situation, I'm coming from somewhere else, I didn't have social security. They took a while, but they're going to accept me. I was just saying, thank you, Jesus, blessings of the Lord. I'm getting somewhere to live because I was catching at somebody's house for a
Right.
month, somebody that I didn't know, by the way. Um, but I was happy, but I didn't know that this was the situation. But I should have known that there was something wrong, because if the protocol is that you should do a background check on everybody coming into the apartment, and you were
Yes.
able to let me in so freely, not knowing if my story was true or not, that I'm coming from another country, it means that you can't
Right.
let anybody else in the apartment.
Yes.
Hence, pie,
Right.
right? And I'm not saying gunman needs somewhere to live to, but come on.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
after we actually broke our lease, breaking a lease it can be a serious thing. We broke our lease before the year was up. We were willing to pay the extra money that we had to pay just to break our lease.
Believe.
And believe it or not, we just moved 5 minutes up the road and we're in a safer area, just 5 minutes
Right.
up the road. But we did extensive, and that's why I said we are willing to pay $1,350 for our rent versus $1,000 or $850 just for our safety.
Right. Right. Got it. Got it.
So do your due
That was
diligence when you're looking.
right. Now that you're out of it, we can laugh. We can look back and laugh. And especially for you, who thought you were living in an upscale apartment, not knowing it was the ghetto. So teachers,
Mhm.
that's another red flag, something you need to look out for. As she said, they did not ask for much, and she was approved
And just
to.
to say, the people here, they know what's happening, because, like, I can tell a teacher, "Oh, I was living at such and such apartments," and they can say, "Oh, that's ghetto." They know what's the ghetto. Like, they know.
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes,
didn't
yes.
know.
So you can ask them actually when you just get here before you start looking.
Yeah,
Where's a
ask
good place
around.
to live? Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. So back to the classroom. You say your school district, one of the better paying ones there in Atlanta. Can you tell us what type of opportunities are there for growth for you as a educator?
The usual. I mentioned before that I have a mentor. We have to be enrolled in a mentorship program for 3 years. I'm annoyed by it, to be honest, but it's for the growth. And we also have to do, some professional development seminars. I think we have like one per semester or two. I'm not sure. Not a lot. So we have that. That's to help us to develop as educators. We also have the ability to choose to do extra professional development uh, sessions. Some of them are paid, so of course I look for the paid ones. Duh.
Yes.
And some of them are not paid. I've enrolled in one that wasn't paid, but it says that it goes towards college credits. And while I don't plan to go back to school, hopefully, um, you still do it because you say, okay, they're doing a course on classroom management. Maybe this is an issue that I'm having right now. Why not? This is to benefit me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. If you want to go back to school, I guess the county would not have an issue with it or anything like that. Georgia does have a thing though where they want you to, inform them that you're going back to school, that you would possibly be getting a level up or whatever they need to know. But yeah, nobody hinders you from trying to better yourself as a professional.
Okay, good. So we're going to go come up to the question and answer section. But before we go, I know you say you would recommend teachers, and you've been telling your colleagues or your friends back home to come and try the program.
Right.
Um, what would you recommend your program or any specific program you think you would recommend for them to come on? Or another question, your school district, do they only work with J1 teachers?
Right. I would recommend, firstly, I'm telling everybody, if you can get an H1 county first, do that. If not, sure, you can come on my program or any other J1 program. Just do your research and see which one would best fit your need based on where you want to be and their track record with their teachers and how they treat their teachers.
Okay, good. All right, so thanks for coming and sharing with us, Malika. We're going to be taking a 30-second break. And guys, if you have questions, you can put those in the comment section below. And then Malika will respond as soon as we're back. in the comment section below also. So we're back. I will talk to you, girl. So if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comment section, whether you're on IG or on YouTube. I'm sorry, I cannot see the Facebook questions. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Marcella. All right, Kimiko says thanks for sharing. For those who have not liked the video as yet, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, guys. Give the video a thumbs up. Also, go ahead and share if you know somebody's interested in coming to live and work in the United States. Miss Palmer is in Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Which program she's on? She's on Interlodge. Interlodge. And you said where's Interlodge based? Based out of which state?
Georgia.
In Georgia. Okay.
I know once upon a time they were doing Mississippi. Is Mississippi a state? Sorry,
Yeah.
excuse my
Yes.
ignorance.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if they're still doing Mississippi, but I know that they used to place teachers there.
Okay. So Georgia and Mississippi. Sloan, can we still apply? You can apply any time of the year. Any time of the year. I think Malika, you came when you came it was really quick, right? And it was late in the year.
It was quick, but it wasn't quick. I had applied in 2019, got a call in 2021. But that was because I think the whole COVID thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I got a phone call sometime in May, the 21st of May to be exact. And I got my interview for the next day, did my interview, got the job on spot. They sent me my documents a week later, applied for my embassy thing, my visa, and that was it.
Okay. All right. So yes, Sloan, you can apply for any time of the year you can apply, but I always encourage people, if you want to get through for like August, start your applications January, or like last December, come on up. But it doesn't matter, especially when it gets to the rush season, when school is out and they have no teachers to fill vacancies, they're still taking in applications, so you can apply any time of the year. Somebody was asking, how badly will your credit be affected? I'm not sure
I
if
feel
you
like
understand.
they're referring to perhaps me breaking my lease. They can probably confirm that.
Kimiko, can you clarify what exactly you're talking? Charnel is saying, what's the cost for childcare in Georgia? Also, what's the age range? The age range for pre-K?
I don't have children. I'm just going off of what my friends have told
Yeah.
me. I have a friend who is a mother of two. Her children attend regular public school. However, she does have to do before and after care, and it's like $700 for both of them together on a monthly basis. So I know you can do your calculations from there. I guess in Georgia you have to be 4 years old to start school. Some schools you can try your luck, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely 4. You might have some daycare, no preschool, but that's going to be like for a cost, but not public school.
Right.
And that's most states, not just Georgia, it's most states. Kimiko said yes. How does it affect your credit for breaking your lease? That was a question.
So first of all, remember I went to the apartment not having social security, so they're bad. And also, but either way, even if I did have social security, it would not have affected my credit, given that I did go through the correct steps. I emailed them, I asked them, I told them, we want to break our lease. What's the procedure? They told us you have to pay 1 month rent in an extra 1 month rent, and you have to give 60 days notice, which we did, and so we would have been in the clear either way.
Okay, good. All right. Any other questions? I see. Isn't it that if you are on H1B and the workload is super heavy and you aren't managing, you'll be sent home? I heard that H1B workers work the hardest. Is that so? Malika?
H1B, just to be clear once more, I'm on a J1 program. I wouldn't say H1B workers work the hardest. I feel like it's where you're placed because once again, just speaking from my friend's experience in Savannah, I know that there are a lot of Jamaicans in Savannah, and Jamaicans are hard workers, and so we've set the bar high in Savannah, and so some of those schools, have a high expectations, for their schools now. Like my friend's school, they're a STEM, they want to become a STEM school or something like that, and so they have extra work to do. I don't think it's a thing where H-1B workers do more work, more. It's
Right.
on the county that you're in and your school and what they want to achieve. But of course, like you have to perform either way. Like whichever country you're in teaching, you need to perform so that they don't tell you that, hey, we're not renewing your contract. There was another question that I saw, Dr. Britton.
You can go ahead if you saw it.
Where is it? Was something about something what we do to manage the classroom or something like
Oh,
that. So
how do you create a positive environment in your classroom? How do you handle disruptive behavior?
okay, didn't see that one. Um, I'll always say you have to build a relationship with the students, which is difficult to do because we do have a different culture. And so some of the jokes that they may make may appear to be offensive or rude, but they're not trying to be rude. It's just that their culture is different. So one is it's being patient and trying to understand them. Creating a positive environment in general in a classroom is setting your rules from day one and being consistent, because there have been moments where I've been inconsistent and it really sucks afterwards. If you say if you do X, the consequence is going to be Y, you really need to
Mm-hmm.
follow through with that, because they'll test you. Like some of them will literally just do things to see if you'll really follow through on whatever consequence you had outlined before, just to see if you would really do it. And yeah, so you really have to be consistent with whatever you do so that you can have a good management of your classroom and good and a positive and safe environment for all your students.
Yeah, definitely. Like Kimiko says, set expectations and being consistent. That is definitely a big thing. And it's not just the middle schoolers test you, even the elementary school kids, they're gonna test you. They're gonna see how far they can get away with stuff. Is there any more question? If not, we're gonna come to an end. For those who have not liked the video as yet, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to this channel as yet, go ahead and hit that
One
subscription
more.
button and turn your notification bells on. Go ahead, Malika.
I see somebody said, Wadner, have you ever had a day where all the kids in your class were completely out of control the whole day? Absolutely. Um, even your best class sometimes can, for some reason, I think in my school, whenever we're approaching a holiday, that week
Yes.
before the holiday
Yes.
is always haywire. Like,
Mm-hmm.
woo, like ensure that you have everything together, because trust and believe. Yes, I've had days where the whole day was just trash and you just have to reset and try to do better the next day.
Mm-hmm. There was a next question. But also they usually said when there's a full moon, that's when the kids act like that. I usually
You're
hear
trying
that.
to say,
I don't know if it's an old people saying. Somebody asked earlier, say, my question is to Malika. Do they offer family and consumer science at your school?
not in
Family
my
and
county, not in my county, but one of my friends' county, Henry County, I know offers that.
I knew not full. Okay. Not your county, but another county.
Henry County,
Henry County. All
but Henry
right.
County doesn't do
You're
direct
welcome,
hire.
Julian. Julian. All right. Another question. How the discipline among the students and towards the teacher? Oh, and there was something else I need to ask. But go ahead with that question. How is the
Um,
discipline between
the
among students
teacher
and
towards the
teachers?
teacher. So you're not gonna walk into a classroom and have the students stand up and say, "Good morning, Mrs. Palmer Allen," as you would in
Mm-mm.
Jamaica. So just get that
No.
out of your head. So that alone will tell you that it's a different culture. I've realized though that most of the students are decent kids, but the few that are not so decent, or the few that are challenging students, they make it hell for you basically. So you'll have students who, for example, the other day, a student, he got upset with my husband. Remember, my husband is also a teacher. He's at the elementary level, 5th grade.
Yeah.
He got upset with my husband because he corrected him on something. and he threw his desk, and my husband said to him that almost hit me, and he said to him, I don't give a F. So I'm just letting you
Hmm.
know you have some,
Period. Ooh.
I don't give a F. um so yeah, it can get, when I tell people that it can get really bad, it can get really, really bad. Like you
Hmm.
never ever see. I have a friend who was at Tivoli, you know, we know how some students behave at Tivoli. And that teacher is now here saying that she has never experienced any behavior like
Wow.
yep, like what she's
Hmm.
experienced now.
Wow.
But for students like those, somebody was asking like, what do you do? Like some students I ignore. Like some students are attention seekers and they want to get a reaction out of you. So I have learned the art of ignoring. You're not
Right.
supposed to do this part, but in my school, I you have to watch what the Americans do, and not to say that you do everything that they do, but it's good to
Yes.
watch and learn. So in my school, I realized that they'll say, "Get out of my class." I'm not saying it's acceptable, but I've found
Right.
that ever since I started saying, get out of my classroom, they kind of shuffle up and like, okay, I'm sorry. And because once if at my school, once you get into the hallway, an administrator may see you. If an administrator
Hmm.
sees you, it means you are being
Hmm.
disruptive, you're sent out of class and you're
Right.
going to be in school suspension.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll say, why? I'll say, get out, like guys. I knew that my mouth was loud enough, but I never knew the extent.
Hmm.
Just get out of my classroom. Get out.
Hmm. Somebody said I had an elementary teacher who had a nervous breakdown in class. He started throwing chairs at students. He wasn't ready to be a teacher. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So, Natalie's asking, did Interlodge ask for a guest ethics certification?
I realize it's a question being
Just
asked.
real laugh.
I realize a lot of people are asking this question recently. When I was signing up initially, they didn't ask me for it. It was after I got the job. However, it is a thing that they're asking for you to do now. It's not hard to get the ethics certification. If you haven't been placed in a county as yet, let me quickly look for the message that was sent to me to tell you people. I'm
So
sorry.
the ethics, let me ask, the ethics certification, isn't that something that you just go on their website and pay, I think $40 and you do the test? It's like some courses
Yes,
you
but usually, like, because it always asks you where it should, which county it should send the results to.
mm-hmm.
Which, if Interlodge is asking for it before you're even placed, it may, leave you confused. But they're
Right.
saying, oh, that you can move on without selecting, or if you can just see like no option, select no option for where it should be sent to for now,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll sort it out afterwards for you.
But the certification is not hard and it's not the same as the
No,
teaching license. So we
no,
might
it's
we
just a
might need
step
to
to get
clarify
the
that.
license. Right. It's a step to get the license. So when they ask you to do it, they're just trying to bring you, a step further to getting your license.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I had a question that I missed. Can you give me a quick synopsis of what you realized with administration here in the US and back home? Like,
Oh,
our principals and our principaling is done here and back home.
so principals here don't have as much control of the school as principals in Jamaica. And, if an American principal happens to be listening in, when I say don't have as much control, I'm not speaking towards um behavior management or whatever, just general things such as in Jamaica, if it's raining a lot in a certain area, a principal could send out to say no school today, or because there's no water at the school, no school today. The
Mm-hmm.
principal cannot make that decision solely by himself or herself here. It has to be
Mm-hmm.
an email coming directly from the district.
Mm-hmm.
So even it's a lot of things. The principals may tell you, okay, you can wear jeans today. Some counties allow jeans, some do not, because I'm hearing that Savannah does not really. I don't know. Um, but there are just so many things that the principals do not have control over. And so as a result of that, I'm just getting my thoughts together. As a result of that, when you're applying, maybe you've gotten through for this school, you know who your principal is, maybe your principal has already started to contact you, sending out general emails. do not message the principal. Let's say you have an issue with your ethics test or something. Don't message your principal asking him or her, how do I get through to the teacher certification? Not to say that they can't help you, because yes, they know about the system, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
their responsibility. That's not
Right.
something that they do. So while in Jamaica, the principal may say to teachers, hey, we're not required to be to have our license, and you guys need to put your portfolio together. You need to email it to me. That's not the thing here. Principals aren't in charge of that thing. When it comes down to hiring and the onboarding process, it's really a company,
HR district.
HR. So you can contact the district if you're under a program sponsor like Interlage or whatever, or participate. Contact your program sponsor, let them help you. Or you can always contact it. Well, not for some program sponsors will get upset if you do things on your own, but I'm here now. I've learned how to contact on my own. Like, I don't need to contact my program sponsor. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
contact HR or your program sponsor to hear what advice they have to give to you. But don't contact the principal. They do not have control over basically anything.
Right, 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 right. Another question. How many subjects do you teach on a daily basis, and how are their performance in terms of average, below, or above?
I teach one subject. I teach Spanish. Um, my husband, he teaches English and social studies as one subject. Um, and as I said before, I teach sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade because I'm a connections teacher. My husband, he teaches fifth grade only. And I'm just saying my husband and I because we're two different something. In terms of student performance, something that does come along with Title One schools, it's not the best. I do have students in my class who cannot read, which is another shocker that I had come in here. Like, big bad America, students can't read. They have all these resources, but
Mm-hmm.
you will find that you have students who, like, when I say cannot read, I mean I teach Spanish, but I have a child who I'm teaching sight words. Um, it happens, yeah.
Okay. All right. The next question is: does the program provide support for you as an international teacher?
Hmm. What type of support?
All right.
I
What type of
normally
support come back, Marcella? But she's asking again: do they have an orientation session in terms of pick up at the airport, place to settle until you find your own apartment?
so Interlage is getting better because, like I said, like, I came to the United States not knowing where I would lay my head the very first night I got here. Because I didn't get an apartment yet or anything. I just came in faith, knowing that I wouldn't be on the streets. But yeah, somebody picked us up from the airport. We were placed after that, we were placed at like a motel for like 3 days, but that's the most that the program will, host you for in a hotel. But now what I've realized that they've done this year, in particular 2022 to 2023, is they've actually found apartments for the teachers where but their group say you have to, perhaps you have a roommate. Even though things were sticky for me, I'm happy that they worked out the way it did for me, because personally I just don't like to share. But you have to do what you have to do. But yeah, but they do provide an apartment for not free of charge or anything. They may
Mm-hmm.
they may pay for it for you for the first month, but you have to give them back the money later down anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, but even though I was placed in a motel at first, they did help me. I told you that I was living with somebody that I didn't know. So
Mm-hmm.
they found this lady who was also on the program with her son, and
Mm-hmm.
she accepted me into her home for a month, and I stayed there. It was cool. I was walking distance from my school. It was all good, so I was able to
Yeah.
work out stuff.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Thanks for that information. I don't see any other questions. I'm not sure if you saw any that I missed, Malika. No. How many interviews are required for your agency? I missed that.
They'll do a general phone call, which I think most of the agencies do, just to really verify what's on your application already, how many years experience you have, blah 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 sheep. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just a simple thing, just verifying some stuff. And then afterwards, once they place it with a school, you do an interview with the school. Some people have had to do an interview with their school districts. That's not very popular, but in the event, I would say two or three, no more.
Okay. Good. All right. Marcella said thank you for answering our questions. Um, You're welcome, Marcella. All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions, guys. We're gonna wrap up. If you don't have any questions, if you did not like this video as yet, as I said before, go ahead and give this video a thumbs
Thumbs
up.
up.
Also, if you have not subscribed as yet, go ahead and subscribe. Can you tell
Subscribe.
us some more about your channel, Malika? For those who don't know, because I've been saying it, you tell us about your channel. So those who are interested can go over and check it out.
Hi again, everybody. So my channel is called Malika's Flex. I didn't correct you on my name because I don't like to correct people on my name. But yeah,
Malika.
yeah,
Okay.
Malika's Flex. That's Malika. Well, it's on the screen,
Mhm.
and then Flex. On my channel, I do all sorts of things. Actually, I do vlogs, I do story times, I do videos on teaching in the United States. I've recently started doing jobs that you can find online for people who have a degree or who don't have a degree. I'm kind of all over. I won't say I'm all over the place. It's just what I've listed a while ago. So it's not exclusively teaching in the United States. We've been doing lives, and we're not doing this every Saturday, but for some Saturdays now, we did the US, we did China last Saturday, and we're doing England this Saturday for teachers who are in England. We're talking about, is the grass greener on the other side, talking about how feasible it is, money wise and otherwise. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. And
All
there's
right.
no
You're welcome, Sloan. All right, Malika. All right. So the Lord bless you both. Thank you, Julian. All right, guys, that's it. That's it. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this live. I hope you learned something. Um, Go ahead and put your applications in if you're interested in teaching abroad. Does your district pay you based on the number of years of experience? I don't know if you want to touch on that again. Maybe Ali just
yes.
joined.
Just yes. The answer is yes.
Okay. All right. You're welcome, Kay. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week with another guest that will be sharing her teaching experience. Same place, same time, Sunday at 6 p.m. EST. Thanks for joining, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye guys. Thank you.